Spacing, showing the ball, cut to the basket. And that you don't want to be as. Sometimes you try to be a little passive where you're trying to make a pass, and the time that we just gave it to me and he just laid it in. It's that you got to make the layup, you got to be strong with the ball, you got to get the spacing, you got to be aggressive. So just continue to work on that.
How's it going, Coach? Good. This past week on FanDuel Running Back, Chandler Parsons kind of compared you guys to the Chiefs in a way that having a group that's won before, and sometimes due to ups and downs of the regular season, injuries you might have a couple losses, but from the outside looking, a lot of people still have confidence in you guys going forward down the stretch. As a coach, how do you guys how are you managing your group to kind of just stay focused throughout the regular season and stay focused on the prize that's coming at the end of the year?
Just like I said, praise, criticism are the same. I think at the end of the day, nothing really matters except the approach that we take on a daily basis. There's 35 people in the locker room. It's really all that matters. Everything else is just, it doesn't really matter whether it's good or bad. And so it's more about just the standard and the things that we're working through as a team and staying focused on the process of winning and what that entails and taking everything as a challenge and an opportunity to get better.
Also, I know you have a big emphasis on the three-point shooting, and obviously start overtime. You guys start, with Derek, Jason, and Jalen all making three-pointers to start the overtime session. Just can you talk about that? Just emphasis for you guys as a team and how you create those shots.
Those were the right shots at the time. On the first possession, they blitzed. We threw it to Luke in the seam. We skipped it across. It was wide open. On the second one, they helped from the strong side slot. JT kicked it to JV, and it was wide open on that one. And on the third one, I think it was an off the dribble one by JT versus Kobe Brown. And so, at the time of the game, the way they were defending, those were the right shots that we have to take. And so, just got to continue to fight for the best shot possible, depending upon how the defense is guarding us, what the game is giving us. And those three possessions, I thought they did that.
Joe, they were missing all their big stars. They were down 82 points in scoring. Why did this turn into such a difficult game for your team?
I think the first question should be, why did we assume that it was going to be an easy game? I think discrediting a championship head coach and a group of guys that are really, really good, I think everybody assumed that it was just going to be an easy one. And I think that is a lack of humility and it's an arrogance to think that it would be an easy one. And so the game went the way it was supposed to go. It's a championship head coach. Those guys are great players, been in the league a long time, a lot of them, and they've delivered on this team and that team. And so I don't think any of that matters. And I thought our guys approached the game the right way. We just made the necessary plays to win, and there's obviously details that we can get better at. But I think the question would be, why would people think it was going to be an easy game?
Derek?
Joe, how do you kind of work on that fourth quarter execution? You don't have much practice time, and your schedule's rigorous. It just seems like there's some things you could probably adjust. Can you do that on the fly? Can you do that in shoot-arounds?
You can do something. You never, at this time, you're not going to be able to simulate the physicality of what it's going to take, but you can work on it, and you just continue to stress it in your habits and things that you have to continue to get better at.
And it seems like Atlanta did it. Teams are going to start doing that to you guys. How do you counter, besides the spacing?
I think it's a situation that because we were winning, they were pressuring us, and I think that's the new thing where teams used to foul right away. Now they're trying to get a steal first before fouls. We try to do that, and so I think it was a situation that really we have to handle being up. Two-possession game, getting the ball in bounds, like it's a specific situation that we got to continue to get better at. And so hopefully we're in those more so we can get reps on it and we'll continue to work on them and shoot arounds and stuff like that.
Coach, can you talk about the performance and the things that you've accomplished thus far in your early career, winning the championship? How has it caused you to grow, and who's been your biggest mentor in your level of achievement?
We haven't really done anything. 24, 25 Celtics, and continuing to get better as a team. That's the only thing. I think the thing I learned from the most, especially this year, are the guys. Just the mentality that they have. I think we're both learning as we go about the process of winning and what that looks like. And the most important thing is sticking to that. So this year I've learned the most from our guys, and hope to continue to do that.
Joe, how rewarding is it to see the trust that Jason had in Jaden in that moment in overtime?
I think that's the locker room, right? I think that's what guys. I think one of the player development. Everyone talks about player development, is a huge piece to that. But I think the piece that I always tell young players is you also got to earn the respect of your teammates. That to me is just as important. And so, and I think the way that the guys have set up the way they work, those guys, they earn the respect of each other. And so, he deserved to be out there because of what he did for us, and it's a credit to those guys for trusting each other. But really, it's on Jaden, delivering the way he did.
Hey, Coach, the Clippers are without 4 starters tonight, playing 4 games in 5 nights. Do you think there's anything the league can do schedule-wise to address players sitting and just the back-to-backs and all that?
It's above my pay grade.
Joe, it seems like all your guys are built, they know you and they know like you can't have an ego here. Like you're gonna play who needs to be played. I mean, obviously Springer took someone's minutes. It's just like, what's that attitude like? They're all cheering for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they all love the guy.
Yeah.
It just seems like the egos are kind of left at the door in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said this before. I think one of the greatest gifts the locker room can give a coach is the freedom to do what he thinks is best to win a game. And so we all have an understanding of what goes into winning. We all, there's a hierarchy, there's a process, there's obviously all of that, but at the same time, every given night there's an opportunity to go to something that can give us a chance to win. And so, it's a credit to the guys for that trust and that communication, but really it's on them that they trust each other. They know we're all trying to win. And so, but like you said, I like to highlight the fact that they were cheering for him because you're right, he did take someone's minutes, but he did it because he was helping us win. And so at the end of the day, the guys in that locker room know it's about winning, and you just got to stick together in doing that. So it's a credit to them.
Final 2 questions there.
Coach, I don't know how much you've spoken with Tyler or gotten to meet him and everything, but like, what is it about him and his personality and his teams that he's kind of able to bring the best out of his teams like this, shorthanded, able to fight till the end like that?
I mean, he's just a great coach. Been around a long time. He's a championship head coach and a players coach. I've talked to him a little bit. I know Sam, gives me a lot of insight as to how he handled teams when they were together and stuff. So, but you're right. I mean, he gets the best of his guys. He does a great job executing. They do a great job finding matchups and get to their spacing. And he gets the best of them.
Last question, Brett.
Joe, it looked like for Jalen's first turnover there in the last minute, it looked like you were calling for the town for a while, but didn't give it to you guys. How tough is that in those situations where, the bouncing act of letting a play develop, but obviously
I don't think I was letting the play develop.
No, I mean, but in general,
It's not that tough. You call a timeout, which I was trying to do. There was no play development there. There was a timeout.
and then it seemed, but in general, in those situations, when you're figuring out
Yeah,
how much
no,
time
it's,
you're gonna
it's
play.
tough, right? Because even the other one in the Atlanta game where we got the 2-for-1 at 32, but Derek was on a break, and you want to call it at 36, but you feel like you might get. Well, yeah, it's a bang bang play. You just gotta kind of have a feel for it, and just kind of wait till the last possible second to do it to see if a play might break. And but yeah, it's a tough one.
They didn't hear you in that spot.
Yeah, credit to them.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.